Hey y'all, my name is Tybree, and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about my Reiki experience, um, and like how I got exposed to Reiki, how it started. Um, so let's get into it. I want to say like back in maybe 2019, 2018, I started having different things happening. Like I think around that time I was starting to merge into like becoming vegan and like just being a little bit more mindful of like what I eat and stuff like that. It's a little hot in here. I rolled the window down here. But yeah, I was starting to become more mindful of like what I eat, what I put in my body and stuff like that. And over time, like I wasn't really, I guess, paying attention to my mineral intake and stuff, but yeah. So I was getting a little weak, in a way, so to say. But I started taking like multivitamins, stuff like that, just to try to get back into health. Also, I was having like back problems and stuff like that during that time. And I was going to the doctor frequently just to see if everything was good. Um, Eventually I started having like these brain like pulses and stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you why I'm explaining all my health issues to you in just a second, and like what it has to do with Reiki. So going through all of these things, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, I couldn't explain what was happening throughout my body. The doctor said I was fine, and the only mineral deficiency I was having was like vitamin D and B12, which is common for vegans. So yeah, the only solution I had was to take in more multivitamins, stuff like that, and I did. So yeah, and then I started to have like brain pulses going through here, and it was just odd. Like, it wasn't like a zap or nothing like that, but it was like boom, 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 boom. And I'm gonna explain why I didn't say the zap, because zaps and pulses are different, and it felt like just a throb and all up through here. Didn't have like headaches until like until I was like dehydrated or something like that. But anyways, so having like brain pulses, stuff like that, starting to experience like clairaudience, clairsentient, and I was just trying to figure out what all was going on. But time goes by, fast forward, I was with my best friend one day, and she had been going through a lot of things, a lot of issues. One of the main things was grief, and grief is like heavy, y'all. Like, if you ever lost someone close to you, it's real heavy. And so yeah, we were in the car one day. She was in town for her cousin's memorial, and we were in the car, and she came to pick me up, and I was like thanking her. I just had like nothing but gratitude, right? And so in this moment of gratitude, like, I touched her shoulder and I was like, thank you, like, I appreciate you coming through, kind of deal, you know what I'm saying? So then like soon as I touched her shoulder, like, I felt the zap, and it was different from the pulse, and I was like, what was that? Like, it was all through here and down through here, and I was like, what just happened? She was like, don't touch me. I was like, what's going on? And she's like, I felt like a zap or a shock or something on my shoulder. And so I was just like, what? Like, what just happened? And I told her, I was like, I just felt, a little zap go through here. And she was like, I don't know what you did or what just happened, but it felt weird. So, yeah, I was like, yeah, that did. So the day goes by, and, eventually I asked her about it, and she was like, I don't know what you did, but I feel different. I was like, how are you feeling? Because I just feel like something happened, but I just don't know how to explain it. And she was like, I feel a little lighter, and I just feel different. And I was like, okay. And I didn't know what was going on, and I was like, maybe I need to look into it. So I did a little research and stuff about energy exchanging and stuff like that, and I came across Reiki, and I was like, did I do that? Is that what I just did? Okay. Maybe not, you know what I'm saying? So I wasn't sure for sure, so I was like, it's just interesting. So some weeks go by, maybe even months, I'm not sure, but eventually I had another experience. Mind you, I didn't know anything about Reiki at the time, and I just came across it at that time, and I was like, it could be, it could not be, you know what I'm saying? But now I know. But yeah, so my other experience was when I was at my brother's house, and my mom was there. She had a seizure, and it was scary. It was definitely scary. I've never seen her go through that before, and so I was really concerned. And my brother, he's seen it happen, and he knew what to do. So we were both trying to get her on her side, and I was holding her hand out to open her chest so she can still get air while she's in the episode. And so as I'm holding her hands out, I heard like a very clear demand saying, channel all your energy into her. And I was like, all right. And like, I just knew what I should be doing. And so I was focusing all of my energy into her. Try not to be so like scared and nervous, because I was like in shock that it was happening and I hadn't seen it before. So tried to focus all of my energy onto her, and then I was just trying to visualize her coming out of it. So as I'm visualizing her coming out of it, like, it's just like all through here got hot, and my fingers were tingling and stuff like that. And I was like, what is going on? Like, my hands are on fire. And so, I'm just like, all right, whatever, we're gonna roll with it, you know what I mean? So I'm like holding her hands like this, and picturing her coming out of it, and within like seconds she was just like, and she was trying to like, get herself together and all that. And I was just like, did I do that? Was that me? Okay. I was like excited, but at the same time I was concerned still, because I was just like, you good? You alright? You know what I'm saying? It was like I was feeling so ambivalent, concerned and excited at the same time. And I was like, did I really just do that? I don't know. And I kept it to myself for a little bit, and then eventually I told my brother, because we were talking about, Tai Chi and all that stuff. And I was like, bruh, I think I brought mama out of a seizure. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like focusing all of my energy on her, and she just came out, man. I was visualizing it up here, and it happened within seconds, you know. And so I told him about it, and I was just like, it could have been Reiki, it could not have been Reiki, you know. I wasn't sure at the time. And fast forward, you know, my back issues got worse and worse, and oh my goodness, the doctors was like, you know, because you've been, you know, dehydrated and like lacking vitamins and stuff like that, it could be that your muscles on your back has just gotten a little weaker, and so all the weight has been put on your spine, and that's what's causing the pain and stuff like that. And I was like, dang. So I try to, you know, drink more water and stuff, and I try to be consistent with those vitamins, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, and then eventually there was one day where I couldn't take it. Like, it felt like somebody reached up, grabbed my spine, and twisted it like that right there, man. Oh, I was in pain. Let me tell you, oh my goodness. I was like, yeah, I gotta go to the ER. And I hate the ER, absolutely hate it. But I went to the ER. It takes forever. I hate the ER. I can't express that enough. But anyways, I went there, and yeah, they were telling me that I have mild scoliosis after doing x-rays and stuff like that. I was like, dang. All right. And they were like, yeah, it's not that bad. And they were just showing me like the little curve. It was very mild, but it didn't feel mild at all. It was nothing mild about that pain, girl. So, oh my goodness, that pain was something else. But anyways, so time goes by, and you know, they had scheduled me, my primary care doctor scheduled me an appointment with the physical therapist and stuff like that. Like, I don't know, she scheduled it or they called me. That's what happened. So they called me, and I scheduled the appointment because the doctor referred me to them and all that stuff. So I was going, and it was all right. And the reason why I say it's all right, because on my part, I just wasn't consistent enough. Like, that's my downfall. It's hard for me to be consistent. It is, at times. And so I was going through a lot of different things, you feel me? Life be lifing. And I just couldn't go all the time. I couldn't do the stretches all the time. Because in my mind, I got to get this done, this done, this done, you know what I'm saying? But anywho, so I was like, you know, my back is still hurting, and I was like, maybe I should try a little Reiki, you know what I'm saying? And so I try to do it. I put both hands over my lower back and like my middle back, because that's where the pain was. So just focusing all of my energy into it, and eventually, like, your girl was feeling little tickles like this, you know what I'm saying? Feeling little tickles, and felt something move. And it's just like, almost like jello, but in my back. So I was just like, what is that? And my hands was hot, you know, and then I felt like a relief. I felt so much better. Let me tell you, I felt so much better. I was like, did I do it again? Oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I did it, you know, feeling good and everything, feeling better. I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? And so yeah, I was feeling good, and I was moving around. Like, I felt like I could just move around my whole living room. And I probably did at that time, I don't remember. But anyways, feeling good. I was like, I feel, good enough to start, lifting stuff more. And so I started doing that. I was doing too much lifting. I knew better, but the pain came back. But I just kept practicing on myself and practicing and just feeling better like each time. And then eventually, like, my family members would like tell me, my back hurt, my shoulder hurt, and I'd be like, hey, let me practice on you real quick. You know what I'm saying? So I started practicing on them and stuff. Like, I explained like what I was doing, and I started practicing on them, and they were feeling better too. I practiced on my brother, my mother, my grandmother, and I practiced on my dad one time. And they all said they felt like that same tickling kind of feeling and felt better afterwards. And I was like, oh snap, yeah. And so I did more research on it. I was watching videos of other people doing it. I came across this bomb TikToker. Her name is Chrissy. And I think her TikTok is Chrissy Indigo Crystal Healer. I think it's something like that. I'll put the link in the description. But yeah, so I started looking her up and just watching her do Reiki on other people and stuff. And eventually she would do it on her lives, and so I'll be watching some of her lives, and one day I was just like, all right, I'm gonna be open to it. I'm gonna sit still and actually just be present, because I'll be moving around and listening to it and stuff. But yeah, she was doing Reiki, she was doing the heart chakra, and like, when I tell you, like, my chest felt so open, I was like, what? Oh snap, okay, this is dope. And she's doing it virtually. I was like, what? That is so cool. And she was also teaching her students how to use light work to protect themselves and stuff like that. And so as she's doing light work and everything, like, she's teaching them how to move each other, how to move people. And I was like, oh, what? Let me find out I can move somebody. Oh my goodness. So I tried it out. Tried it on my brother. My brother, he's a soldier. He's a very brave soul. Like, I was just like, all right, you ready for me to practice? He was like, yeah, because he was already into Tai Chi, so he knew a little something about energy, right? And so I was focusing my energy, imagining him like in his essence and stuff like that. And visualization is key for me, and for most people that do light work and Reiki, right? So I was visualizing him as a whole, and my hand gestures were wrong, and this is why I was like moving like this, but eventually he was like, I was like, what is going on? And so I stopped, and so then he was like, Bree, I think you taking my air. And I was like, what do you mean taking your air? He was like, yeah, like I'm like, my chest is real tight and I'm trying to catch my breath. And I was like, what? Oh no. So I had to stop. I was like, let me put it back. So I was trying to like put it back, I'm just like, trying to see like if, I could just put the energy back into him or something so he could, recuperate. So, and I did. I put it back, and I was just like, whoo, that was scary. And it was like, yeah, maybe you just like, you doing it wrong or something. I was like, I think so. So I sat down, watched one of her videos on her page, and I was like, okay, I know what I'm doing wrong, and I know what I need to do right. So I try to practice again, and so then I was just like, okay, it's basically like wind, right? Wind, it moves back and forth, you know. But if wind just shoots at you, it's just like, you know, it's gonna, you know, take the air out you, you know what I'm saying? So I just trying to imagine like just moving them like wind, right? Just flowing like that, and then, you know, move my hands back and forth so I'm not taking the energy, you know, I'm just moving it. And so yeah, and I moved him. And I was just like, yeah, I did it. I was excited. I was like, I did it. You know, and I know you're probably thinking, what does moving somebody got to do with Reiki? Well, let me explain. So the way that I look at it is, you know, when people do telekinesis, right, they're moving objects with their mind, right? But I mean, what's the difference between telekinesis and Reiki, right? You're moving people's energy and you're basically, you know, open them up to receive positive energy through you and healing people. So telekinesis and Reiki go hand in hand for me. So yeah, it's all just energy, basically. It's kind of like, you know, Tai Chi. Tai Chi is basically just energy. It's all involving the energy from you, yourself. And so, yeah. And I feel like it's kind of similar to how we have different religions, right? And everybody's like, oh, this is God, this is Allah, this is Krishna, or, you know, Buddha, and all these other gods, but they're basically the same thing. You know what I mean? And I feel like we look at them the same way we look at energy. Well, most people do. So, yeah. And that's what I was doing. Basically, just channeling my energy again and just moving him back and forth. And it was pretty cool. I was excited. I was so excited. And I was a little kind of like scared the first time, but like after I actually did it, I was just like, that's dope. And so then I also practiced on my cousin too. My cousin's a little scared because he heard about my brother, so he's just like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Like he wanted to, but didn't at the same time. So as I'm practicing on my cousin, trying to move him as well, he was nervous and everything, but eventually, like, he was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. So he's bigger and taller, you know. He's not like bigger, but he's like stocky and taller. But yeah, and as I'm like trying to practice on him, he moves himself like, oh, you did it. I was like, no, you did. I was like, did you do that just so I wouldn't have to do it for real? He was like, yeah. And I was like, what, you scared? He's like, yeah. I was like, don't be scared, man. Don't be scared. And I was like, does it help if you just turn around? You know, he was like, yeah, I could do that. Because he wanted to experience it, but didn't at the same time. And so he turned around and I was moving him. You know, he didn't notice it until like I moved him a little bit more, and he like jerked back like, yeah. He was like, what? Bree. I was like, yeah. And like he was excited. He was like, what? And then because he's my little cousin, and you know, I always tell him about like energy and stuff. Like every time I'm getting into it, I tell him like what I'm learning, so he'll know too. And but yeah, him and my brother was excited. It was like, what? That was cold. You know what I'm saying? It was cold blooded, and I was excited. I was just happy, and yeah, and so then they would talk about energy more often. Then they got into like chakras too and stuff. So I was learning about chakras myself, and eventually I was just like, I should start taking this a little bit more serious, and I was looking into like what I got to do to become more like official, and one of the things was attunements, right? So I was telling somebody about how I really wanted to get an attunement. Like I'm already doing it, but I just want to be like official, have the credentials. And lo and behold, I came across the right person. And she told me about this lady, and I was like, all right. Her name was Alicia, I think her name was Alicia, and she was telling me about this lady named Susan. And I was just like, what? Okay, I'm gonna do it. So, I took a trip to Georgetown and went to go and get an attunement. And she was telling us about the history of Reiki and stuff like that. And I was, and like how we got exposed to it. And she was asking about like how we got exposed to it. And so I told her how I was exposed to it. And she was like, so you're a natural healer. I was like, yeah, but I just don't have the credentials for it and stuff, and so I don't, want to do anything. I want to learn more about it before I could take in clients and stuff like that. And she was like, okay, and so she did the attunement. She, broke down my aura and did the symbols to align my chakras. And one of the things she was telling me as she was aligning my chakras was just call on, whoever, whatever is it that you believe in, and ask them for guidance and protection to make you feel comfortable and stuff. And I was like, all right. So I'm thinking about my ancestors. I'm thinking about, angels and stuff like that. So then afterwards, I felt like a little, a little lighter. Then she said, now we're gonna do Reiki on you. And she was talking about her and the student doing Reiki on me. So they did a Reiki on me on the table and stuff. And when I was going through like the whole Reiki session, I had like this visualization of like memories like flashing through my mind, and I was like in different places, right? I'm not even sure that like I remember being at, but it was just different places, different times. It looked like the 90s, the 60s and stuff like that. And I'm just like, what is all of this? And then like there was one moment where it stopped, and I was like in a space with two guys. They was talking, chopping it up and stuff, and I was the same height as them. Mind you, I'm 5'5". They some tall dudes. And I was laughing and don't know what I was laughing at. Then it just like, then the memories kept going and flowing, and I was just like, what in the world? And kind of jerked a little bit, and eventually like I just woke up. And as I got up, everything was more intense, everything was more closer. Kind of felt like I was in a fishbowl, and I thought that was cool. But yeah, that was like the best experience ever. I'm gonna get a level 2 attunement here soon. But anyways, so yeah, one of the things she was telling us, because she had made us some soup, some veggie soup, some hummus and crackers and stuff. And I was like, oh, this is the best. Oh my goodness, this is divine timing. Like I needed to be in this space, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, after our Reiki sessions, we was just sitting down at the table. She had a beautiful house, like very beautiful, and we're just chopping it up. And she was explaining to us that the energy that we're using is not us; it's of a higher source, right? And I was like, oh, okay, all right, Now I haven't been a Christian since 2017, 2016. And around this time, I think it was like last year around October and November when I was experiencing the attunement and everything. So last year meaning 2023. But yeah, so she was telling us that it was like a higher source. I was like, okay. And I'm like thinking about the universe, cosmos, stuff like that. But one day, I want to say like a few days ago, one of my mentors at my job asked me, so what all goes on in the attunement and stuff? Because, she was interested in Reiki too. And I was like, well, I was explaining to her like all that was going on. And one of the things I said, it's not our energy. Like, we're not doing nothing at all. It's just energy from a higher source. And she was like, wait a minute. But you've been doing this like forever before you even got an attunement. So wouldn't it be just you? Why would it have to come from a higher source if you already been doing it? And I was like, you got a point, and like I thought about it all day, and I was thinking about how I used to do research. Now this is all self-research on like different forms of energy, where energy comes from, and like what our body consists of, and how powerful our mind is and stuff like that. I've already been looking to all of these different things, and then I start to remember we're like made of stardust. Like 90-something% of stardust resides within us. And at the same time, we talk about spirit, like how God is a spirit or light or energy. People talk about how God is just energy, just a spirit, right? And I was thinking to myself, I was like, people talk about that all the time, but at the same time, you gotta be mindful of self, because it's like, aren't we spirits? Are we not energy? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, maybe it is from me. Like, maybe I'm just, part of the cosmos, just having like a human experience just in this vessel, right? And so, yeah, I was like, she's right. It is me. And like, I am the energy, that is channeling, all through my body, like my chakras and all that, and focusing, all that energy on other people to heal. But yeah, and so I was thinking about that, and we all have it. I feel like we all have that energy within us. If you got a spirit, you got energy. If you got energy, you can heal. You just gotta channel it, tap into it. But yeah, so I thought it was pretty dope, and like it gave me that friendly reminder that it's you more powerful than you think. You're only as powerful as your mind allows you to be, right? If you keep putting yourself in a square, you just gonna keep being in that square until you take that square off, take that limit off you. And yeah, so I was just like, that's dope. Yeah, and ever since then I've just been like looking up, different forms of energy, like even magnetic energy. We don't think about it, but we also have like that magnetic field. We just call it aura, right? And I feel like that magnetic field is like something something crazy, you know what I'm saying? Something amazing. Even with magnets, when people use magnet therapy, they use, like, I think it's the North Pole to heal people. And what it does is, if you stick the magnet, like, they have like little band-aid stickers you can put the magnets on and stick it to your body where the pain is, and it alleviates a lot of the pain. I've tried it like on my back, like it was amazing. But yeah, so I feel like, you know, just like magnets, like our magnetic field could heal others as well. You know, we just calling it, you know, energy or whatever, vice versa. But yeah, and I feel like this is a start of something great. Like, I'm really gonna take this serious and start taking in clients and stuff. Just getting everything aligned, starting with letting y'all know my experience. And I appreciate y'all for tuning in and listening. It's a lot of work to be done, and I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited. I'm so excited. But yeah, I'm gonna get into it. Also, I want to mention, I'm going to try to get like a thermal energy camera, so you guys can actually like see what I see behind the lens, you know what I'm saying? Like, up here, it kind of looked like, as I'm closing my eyes and doing Reiki, it kind of looks like thermal energy, or like, you know, when you close your eyes real tight, when you're washing your hair and stuff, you see those little purple, yellow circles of light and stuff like that. That's how I see things, and it's really cool. It's really cool. But yeah, just, you know, stay in tune. There's a lot of work to be done. We'll make a couple more videos over time and just try to stay consistent. Like I said, consistency is what I need to work on. And yeah, thank y'all for watching. I appreciate your time. All right, well, y'all be safe out there and stay dangerous at the same time. No. I see y'all.